Astrology. This is the composite chart for Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. And if you don't know what the composite chart is, it's when you put the two charts together using their midpoints and it creates another chart, and it is a chart describing them as a couple. So, as a couple, they are Libra rising, Sun in Leo, Moon in Pisces, North and South Node in Pisces, Virgo in the 6th and the 12th. And as a couple, I really like this chart, and I'm going to get into why. I think they lasted like 8 years, which is to me is a pretty long time, especially for celebrities. And we see here the Libra rising is ruled by. So we're going to look at the main points: the Sun, the rising, and the Moon. And the rising here is ruled by Venus. So we have a fortunate planet, and that planet is in the 10th. Moving towards the midheaven there. And it's in Cancer, the sign of family and emotional security, home life. And that's one reason why I like this chart, because the Venus is so powerful, which would be good for a composite chart to have a powerful Venus, to have, especially the idea that it's in Cancer, which I'm going to get in more of. That there's a grand trine between the planets in water: Pisces Moon, Sun in Venus, and Uranus in Scorpio. So there's a lot of easy flowing energy when it comes to water, and the water in relationships is very important, because it creates a very strong bond that's hard to break. We see here, the other thing I really like is that their Sun, it's in Leo, but it's in the 11th house, and Jupiter's in the 11th house, and Mercury's in the 11th house. And Jupiter does really well in the 11th house. I don't think there was any like serious scandals with this relationship, like no cheating and things like that. Like Jupiter is in the 11th is known as good spirit. I have Jupiter in the 11th. My mother had Jupiter in the 11th. I've known several people with Jupiter in the 11th, and they all do have good spirits. And what I mean by good spirit is just not that they're good people. It's just, you compared to most people, they usually mean well. People that you like being around. They're friendly. And with the Sun in the 11th house, a house of friends, this couple could have a very good relationship because of their friendship. And I do believe that I think I read that they started off as friends and then decided to date. So I really like that, because I think I think it can lead to a longer lasting relationship, because if friendship is the basis of the relationship, that's something that a lot of people value and need. So that's why I like to see the Sun in the 11th house. Now it is in Leo, and Jupiter's in Leo, and Mercury's in Leo. So obviously we see them both being celebrities and having the similar goals and objectives of being center stage, being on television, being in the music industry, etc. So that's also something that they can both relate to individually, and they can do together as a couple. The Moon is in Pisces near the South Node, and the South Node is in Pisces. And with the Moon being in Pisces, again, they both can really resonate with the idea that they're performers. They like to be on stage. And I want to show, and I also like the idea that I think this couple that you can see with the Virgo emphasis and the Pisces emphasis, the 12th and the 6th, they're able to improve on their relationship. It's something that also going along with that grand trine in water. Probably have very intimate conversations on a regular basis, and they probably go very deep within their conversations and get very psychological and all that kind of stuff. which can be overwhelming, but it also can be good as well because they're able to work out their own problems. And we see here they had children. I think they had 2 or 3 children. We have Mars in the fifth, the house of children. So definitely, and then with that Leo, definitely children involved in this relationship. If you wanted to look at what their children would look like, I don't know anything about their children, but with Mars there in the fifth in Aquarius, these could be internet children. They probably grew up on the internet, have great success on the internet. Uh, they could be athletic, they could be ambitious, they could be intrepid, adventurers, trendsetters, all the things that go along with Mars there. There may even be um, some different experimenting with different forms of sexuality with that Aquarius there as well. So we also have Pluto here in the first. So we see where they're coming from as a couple. Pluto in the first house, and the South Node in the sixth. Uh, and where they're headed, the seventh house and the 12th. So where they're coming from, again, is very individualistic with that Pluto in the first. Again, both of them individually can relate to that. They're both coming from this place of self-improvement, which, again, I think they both can relate to that. I think Kim has a lot of Virgo in her chart. Kanye has that story of meeting the right people and really putting himself out there, trying to improve himself, overcoming injury when he first came out with the music in the music industry with that, with that South Node moon, feeling stuck or having to overcome some kind of challenge. He's used to that. I'm not sure if she's used to that, but she's definitely used to the Virgo aspect. So even though you may not see that in her life, she's definitely felt that she's been able to overcome challenges in her life. And also I wanted to mention the work stuff. They both have busy lives. I'm assuming that they have busy lives. So they both come from a place of work too. They're hard workers. And this is where we're going to see the problem, where the problem comes into with this chart. We see the green line there, the inconjunct between that sun in the 11th and that moon in the 6th, the idea of spending time together in a community and then having to go to work. And I read that ultimately, this is what I read, that Kim said they divorced because he was on the road all the time and she wanted a closer connection in person, spending time as a family. We see this Venus in Cancer and all that water and the work, and we see here the Neptune in the third squaring those nodes, with the resolution node being the 12th, the ruler coming back to that 11th house. And with Neptune there in Sagittarius in the third, that is Sagittarius and the third both being areas of travel, and Neptune being that area of that planet of being like traveling or kind of being lost at sea. And we could think of it, Kanye as being traveling all the time, kind of being lost at sea. And we see that it's a square, and that is the challenge there for this couple. As she said, they divorced for that reason, because we come back to the foundation and what worked with the couple, and here this idea of separation, lacking this 12th house spiritual basis, the spiritual basis for their relationship, this idea of where they're headed, the 12th house, in her mind, or maybe both of them, that this it probably was a very spiritual relationship. And as I said, the ruler of that 12th house node comes back to the Mercury in the 11th of being friends. So that Neptune in the third would definitely be a hard obstacle to overcome. And you can see here in the composite that when you do have challenges in your relationships and you look at the composite, they can be overcome, because we see the inconjunct here with the sun and moon, where it's in the Scorpio in conjunct, where there's an adjustment that can be made based on work and maybe fame, the 11th house, and other people's money. I mean, at the end of the day, uh, did if that is the true, if that's the truth, and we look at this relationship, did Kanye really need to continue traveling? Could he have just gave up his career and maybe did something else at the home? Um, to me, it makes perfect sense that that would be an easy solution, but not looking at his chart and who he is, not necessarily the case. So I hope you enjoyed this composite reading of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.